Good evening and welcome to MUVI TV, your channel of billion kwacha. President William Ruto wins against as a losing hand for their duties. And Lusaka's Linda residents experiencing erratic water last for Raila Odinga's challenge to the presidential Ilinga of Ozimio party through his lawyers. The Supreme Court judges have slowed 30 of them out of the 9 were found to select.
2020 final result. Sporadic violence, there was unexpected and appalling split screen himself room rapture, the details of which remain scanty and contradictory between the chairperson of the commission and some of its members. In the absence of any evidence of violation of the Constitution and our electoral laws.
However, losing candidate Raila Odinga says his party respects the opinion of the court, although he vehemently disagrees to it. He says his party has always stood for the rule of law and the Constitution of Kenya, but says that this is the court's opinion. Mr. Odinga has stated that his lawyers preferred refutable evidence and the facts which were on the side, but says that an unduly exaggerated language to refute his claims. The judgment, he says, is by no means the end of his movement, but it inspires his party to redouble the efforts to transform the country into a prosperous democracy where each and every Kenyan can find their full belonging. Mr. Odinga has since thanked his supporters and Kenyans across the country for standing with him. He says he will, in the near future, communicate on his plans to continue the struggle for transparency, accountability, and also who he has been in charge of the country. Dr. Ruto says the former President Kenyatta is still needed to the affairs of Kenya and says he must be respected accordingly. He says respect will be given during his retirement life. As also stated, losing candidate Raila Odinga too will be respected once he retires.
Our President Uhuru Kenyatta, in his retirement, we will give him the respect and dignity a former head of state deserves. We are honorable people. We are not petty and we are not jealous. He has done a good job and he will have his place in the history of Kenya. So nobody should peddle any falsehoods or that we harbor anything against the President of Kenya. When our good friend Raila Odinga retires also, we will give him the respect he deserves as a Kenyan leader who has made a huge contribution to the democracy of our nation, and every other leader that deserves respect. So to all our friends out there, we want to grow a nation. We want to build a society that is based on the rule of law.
Opposition Patriots for Economic Progress leader Sean Tembo was on Monday morning rushed to Challenge Level 1 Hospital for medical treatment after spending 5 days at Saka's Woodlands Police Station on a known charge. Mr. Tembo was seen being aided by some of his relatives from the hospital back into the holding cells.
No, tasira tezinai ntasala 4. My brother is sick. Grace mumbeke myself, honestly. Oh no. Ah we no. Vemuchita vinango. No. Tasira tezinai ntasala 4. My brother is sick like this mumbeke myself, honestly. Oh no. Ah we no. Vemuchita vinango. No. Tasira tezinai ntasala 4. My brother is sick like this mumbeke myself, honestly.
to come in our story, some security guards of Army Safety Security in Livingstone have gone on strike following the non-payment of salaries. We'll be right back. We take our first set of commercials. Stay tuned.
The Zambia Statistics Agency will this year conduct the 2021 census across the country. The census aims to count people in households, rural and urban, hospitals, military, police and correctional facilities. This numbering will extend to hotels, farms, as well as high-density areas with different families sharing a house and those in transitory locations. Every person in the country matters and should be counted because the census will benefit all, from migrants, refugees and street children, homeless people, the young and the old people, as well as persons with disabilities. Everyone counts. This message is brought to you by the Zambia Statistics Agency.
Nizona BMW 650i ingankale yanu ngati mwapitiriza kupanga ma-entries ya ma-5 kwacha. Mungateye New Deal Game Shop pa time iliyonse kuseni muzuva mumazulo. Tamene mufunika kunkala nato ni 6 kwacha mobile money account yanu. Then if you have that 60 kwacha, all you need to do is go to your keypad mwadini za star 265 star 13275 star 5 hash send. The more you enter, the more chances you have of becoming the owner of this beautiful BMW 650i Muntuanzi.
How to use your home Airtel Money wallet when traveling across Africa. Step 1. Get used to a new place. Step 2. Learn the language and culture. Step 3. Pay your bills in a foreign country using your home Airtel Money wallet. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Still on our local news, some security guards of Army Safety Security in Livingstone have gone on strike following the non-payment of salaries by the company in the last 3 months. The workers have vowed not to resume work until their demands are met. And meanwhile, speaking in an interview, company director Crispin Kayala says the workers are not being truthful as the company is not aware of any outstanding duties.
Security, which is an important vessel in the smooth running of the country, is ineffective without people to safeguard properties of government and the country at large. Despite having a mandate to ensure that property is well looked after, security personnel also risk their lives to execute this mandate. Over 25 security workers in Livingstone have downed tools over non-payment of salaries for the past 3 months. The workers have vowed to not resume work until they're given their dues and insist on being paid what they are owed, as this indirectly affects them and their livelihoods.
Grace Musialela, number 7 and a company for 1st June 2020. But kutoka peti na mbila kusebenza nabo kufola ni kuvutikilila sitifola bwino wati apateza bwela ndrama paka titakate kwenda ku manchito ndiye pamene tizafola ndrama ya minute fola ni ma 800 but ku guarding ati guarding vintu vikulu bazesco vet guarding but sibati pasa ndrama ati batipasa kwa ndrama zolongosoka. So tidandaula kapena kulivamene bayangana pali security oloba president batitale ko chifundo batipase ko company nangu abatalema nabo.
Ndine Godfrey Namushi ni sevenza kwa Army Safety Security Company. Hii company itakuanza 2 months before then angoli na 3 months mukababuza bakamba no zinguluka msoja uzafola. So talema na kufola kwa mino wakamba timizafola kuma nyumba batipisha wa malandlord bana balibe hokoti then 6 to 6 tibula kumantini then cha number 2 napsa batisa ni sama formative napsa zambo julo takwanza ma 2 years tipe napsa sibajuba ni napsa kulipe ma leave days yonse tulipe ma leave days then ukaenda kufuna uenda pa leave atilipira ndirama manje chifuna government titendizi talema nabo bandaba ukakakolo na malini balesa ati kulipe mani pako manje tizasebenza kwaji nabo bandaba pempa kwa government titendizi itione tavutika sekulipingisa ba president batione komangini tavutika.
And company representative Crispin Kyle expressed ignorance on the matter and denied allegations made by the workers, saying the workers were paid on time and has no record of owing anyone.
We don't just have information. It's not true. It can't be true. It's not true. I don't know why they are informing you those lies. That information is not true. Yes, I'm very much aware. There is a pending 1 month which we haven't paid, and we have got reasons why it's not paid, but we are paying as much as possible. So for them to go that far, I think they have just moved very fast, and I know it's because of some people are just influencing them, but we get to the bottom of this matter.
The workers have since called on the company to address the issue as it has been long overdue.
With our president, but you only come a security company, now a minister of labor, like reconcile company and security, because these people they are suffering a lot. They have families, they have a lot of things to do. Some of these guys they even want to go to school.
Prudence Mutelo reporting for MUVI TV News, Livingston, Southern Province.
Residents of Lusaka's Kasisi area have expressed disappointment over the alleged unprofessionalism by some police officers who allegedly shot at one of the residents while conducting their inspection in communities. The incident, which happened over the weekend, some airport police officers on Sunday, 3rd September 2022, allegedly shot a 22-year-old Richard Banda, a grade 12 pupil, during their inspections. Speaking in an interview with MUVI TV News, the victim's mother has called on relevant authorities and all well-wishers to look into the matter and help her son, who was allegedly shot, as it is unknown under unknown circumstances by the police.
These are some of the residents and witness from Kasisi area express their concern of unprofessionalism police conducting from airport station. Saturday around 21 hours, over 14 police from airport station came at the Kasisi area without an inspection or information.
Kewapa nonigwira kumanja nisinezina bana babiri kumanja bura nitimba mbamba banigweza so banaenda munyumba muja baenda bauza bana hose atchokwamo ni mipando gwadani pansi munyimike mandi kumamba bana hose banagona pansi muja munyumba no nyamusa manja kumamba so yambo badonsa wanu bapereka banje badonsa wanu wile bwani mushite complain pasani ko nashitika mai mwana.
A grade 12 22 years old Richard Banda was shot by police without any fault. The victim's mother has said that his grandson has no criminal record.
Zona kupeza kuti zona mwana wanje wachita bwanji wa shooting. So akapokala amena na mushuta ni bapa airport. So niye pamana tutenga beva amena kwa airport yao na kutibweresa kuno ku hospital straight. Instead kuti tikoneke pao paja kuti tikatenge medical. So tunapoya nao kuno na kuseni sana cherere kuwera kuzona mwana. Uyu mwana ni wa grade 12 so hapa sinizi bangataza nkala bwino. Era nipunze mwana movutikira nine mukazi wa masiye pano pamene nili boni tandiza so piliza ali yense shuwa amena zaita chifundo pa mulandu uyu shuwa mwanda ntandizeko na papata
walikuwa mwalo mbata na bosta react kuno i reaction next na ikondoro pamono peka bantu anamenyewa.
Reporting from MUVI TV in Lusaka, Frederick Benezoho.
A 9-year-old boy of Chova area in Kalumbila district of Northwestern Province is suffering from a severe skin condition. The boy's mother, Avian Kawangu, 49 of Kafumu College village, says the efforts to take her son to advanced health facilities has failed. Ms. Kawangu has further revealed that due to stigmatization and mockery from the community arising from the boy's skin condition, her husband has abandoned her. Residents of Chilanga's Linda compound have continued experiencing erratic water challenges lasting for over 4 months now. This is despite the residents having lodged a complaint with the area ward councillor for attention. However, Mukolo Ward 15 councillor Evans Kaliko says the local authority is still working towards the situation. An audit of the government payroll from 2017 to 2022 has revealed irregularities amounting to 2,629,735,560 kwacha. A breakdown of these irregularities has revealed that the highest amount went to ghost workers who drew 710,363,569 kwacha. Auditor General Dick Sichembe says some of the officers are still on the payroll. He was speaking on Monday morning during the report of the Auditor General on the audit of government payroll for the financial years ending on the 31st of December 2017 to 2021. Inspector General of Police Lemi Kajobe has called on the commanding officers under his wing to be professional on the managing of human rights and public order. Mr. Kajobe, who was the guest of honor at the ongoing 4 days training workshop by Zambia Police Commanding Officer in Lusaka, says matters of accountability and human rights in management of public order have been a source of concern in Zambia for a long time. He further says that it is for this reason that many sectors of society feel that there is need for the police to be exemptional in the applications of peace of registration. The Inspector General of Police says this is evidenced by complaints and concerns associated with members of the public. And speaking at the same occasion, Southern Africa Center of Constructive Resolution of Disputes Executive Director Boniface Chembe says such projects can make an important contribution to helping national efforts as initiated by President Hakainde Hichilema. Minister of the Home Affairs and Internal Security Jack Mwimbi and the Inspector General of Police himself.
It is a great pleasure and honor for me to be here on the occasion of the official opening of the training workshop for senior commanders on accountability and human rights on the managing of public order, being held here at Kwitu Lodge in the beautiful town of Lusaka, Zambia. Allow me to express my sincere gratitude to the organizers. Of the issues that will be discussed at this training workshop include the following. 1. Introduction to emerging international good practice. 2. Command and management practice based on new international and regional norms and standards. Legitimacy. In the legitimacy, we are looking at confidence and police effectiveness, among others. With the high level of expert process by a facilitator, Mr. Gary White, I'm confident that the participants will benefit as expected, especially that the training will be interactive one, with individual participants having a role and responsibility of sharing their own experiences, feedback, and also lessons that you have learned over the years. To the commanders, let me remind you that this training comes at a time when the review of the Public Order Act is underway, which is being facilitated by the Ministry of Home Affairs and Internal Security and Zambia Law Development Commission, ZLDC.
That we bring to you focuses on 3 key pillars. 1, regulation of public order and public assemblies. 2, strengthening oversight and accountability of public order. And 3, strengthening management and command of police in areas of public order. This 14-month project will be implemented until August 2023 and foresees a significant number of training, advising, and coaching activities for the Zambia Police Service, who remain among us the beneficiaries of the project. Under Pillar 3 of the project, SACOD and DICAF are conducting an initial 4-day training for senior commanders responsible for public operations in Zambia. The 4-day training, which has been successfully rolled out in other similar DICAF police reform programs in sub-Saharan Africa, builds on international good practice, regional norms and standards. For example, the Africa Court of Human Rights guidelines for the policing of assembly by law enforcement officials in Africa, but also international lessons learned, for example, from countries such as South Africa, in the case of the Marikana Commission report.
We have more coming up on our local news and of course more stories coming up. We take a second commercial break. We'll be right back.
Istana ya Afrika ya kubende chalo akamwana kanono nomsepela kuikala chapamo kuribe kumunzi kuribe mutauni kumatero aliyenze afunika
The
kupende.
Zambia Statistics Agency will this year conduct the 2021 census across the country. The census aims to count people in households, rural and urban, hospitals, military, police and correctional facilities. This numbering will extend to hotels, farms, as well as high-density areas with different families sharing a house and those in transitory locations. Every person in the country matters and should be counted because the census will benefit all, from migrants, refugees and street children, homeless people, the young and the old people, as well as persons with disabilities. Everyone counts. This message is brought to you by the Zambia Statistics Agency.
Now experience 4G speeds on your 3G device with the Airtel 4G Pocket Wi-Fi.
To continue with the news, Patriotic Front Media Director Antonio Manza has alleged that the International Monetary Fund bailout package is a betrayal to the interest of the Zambians. Speaking in a phone interview, Mr. Manza says there is no way the country can rely on the IMF program to elevate poverty and improve the lives of the people. He has emphasized that the IMF is being used to manipulate the public, stating that a government is not supposed to borrow money from the outside but look for means of revealing a back economy. Mr. Manza alleges that government has given taxes break to rich foreign companies because it does not care about the suffering of the majority Zambians in the preference for the white.
I have to make a few things clear. Number one is that it must be made very clear that the IMF loan is not for economic recovery. It's not for economic development. It is not for job creation. It is not for lowering the cost of living. It is not for elimination of poverty. The IMF loan is there to help the government with a balance of payment. The idea is to mobilize money to pay back the debt that we have. That's number one. So it will not add any economic value to an ordinary Zambian. Number two, it also must be understood that it is the betrayal of the trust of the Zambian people to have the government go and borrow $1.3 billion when we can mobilize those resources locally through giving collecting fair taxes from the mines. If this government had not removed the tax system that they found, if this government had not given the tax breaks or tax holidays to the mining conglomerate, by now we would have managed to raise that $1.4 billion just through taxation of the mines. We don't need any more debt when we can raise that same amount of money by collecting the correct taxes from the mines. Unfortunately, this government has given the mining conglomerate tax holidays at the expense of the poor Zambians. Number 3, the IMF loan does not come as a lump sum amount. It comes in bits and pieces. It will be disbursed in the next 3 years. And that will depend on this government's ability to adhere to the demands of IMF, which among others include the removal of all tax waivers which have been subsidizing fuel. That's to expect that the fuel prices will continue to go high. It also needs this government to reduce its support to the poor farmers through the Farmer Input Support Program, which now they call Comprehensive Agriculture Support Program. Already, the last budget, we saw a reduction from 2.8% of our GDP in support of farmer input support, which was reduced to 1%. And we expect that the farmer support government has been giving to the farmers will continue to come down as part of the conditionalities that IMF has given them.
Meanwhile, the leadership movement has maintained that it does not believe the International Monetary Fund bailout approved last week is a solution to the problems that the nation is facing. Speaking in an interview, Party President Dr. Richard Silumbe says previous regimes undertook similar deals but all failed. Dr. Silumbe explains that only local solutions can help in solving problems that the country is facing, as there is need to ensure that government should get revenue from minerals that are being mined at no cost. He further notes that the Zambians should create a habit of producing and selling goods to other countries to develop, then always depend on handouts.
Don't believe that IMF bailout will be a solution to this country. Number one, because it has failed. Remember in the 80s, late 80s, the likes of Kenneth Kaunda did go into a deal with IMF and it didn't work out. Frederick Chiluba went into a deal with IMF, it didn't work out. Levi Mwanawasa, we can name them. All the previous governments we believe that it's by working with our local solution. Number one, we need to ensure that we get enough tax from our mining sector, our fuel, getting our minerals without any tax, and we are losing out in that area. We need to get enough tax. We can raise 1.3 billion if we are serious as a country. We need to engage in production. We have a lot of natural resources which we are not using, by the way. We are just waiting on foreigners to come and do mining for us. So these are the things that we can do. We need to be looking at local solution rather than foreign or imported solution. Giving money, bags of money, does not help an economy. What helps an economy is looking at how we can locally engage ourselves, engage our human resource, which is cheap labor, energy of the young people, interaction with our natural resources, and be able to produce products that we can sell to other countries and gain forex. That is genuine money. We need to look at local solutions. What are the local solutions? We need to ensure that all the mining companies are giving enough tax to the Zambian people. And we need also to engage in mining as well and be productive. Once we are doing this, we will not be thinking of IMF or looking outside for aid or loans or anything else. For the quality of lives of the Zambian people to be improved, we need to ensure that we provide jobs. We engage them in systems that are productive, such as ZNS. I don't think that there is any country in this world that dropped from heaven or from anywhere with bags of money and it is using that money to develop. So if there is no country in this world that dropped from heaven with bags of money, then we have a reason to believe that any country can start from the scratch. It can start by ensuring that it uses its energy, the energy of the young people, interaction with its natural resources.
Frankfurt's Zoological Society Director for Community Outreach, Dr. Rogers Lubilo, has called on the state to quickly move in and arrest the uncontrolled timber logging in Choma district. Speaking in an interview with MUVI TV News, Dr. Lubilo noted with great concern that the people who are championing the timber logging are from outside, getting advantage of the vulnerability of the local community. He says the uncontrolled timber logging destroys the habitat, which affects the animals, especially those dependent on browsing the trees. He has since called on the security wings and the general citizenry to work together and preserve the natural resources the country has.
Area where we have multiple land use options. There's agriculture, there's wildlife, there's forest, and so on. But yes, we are aware and we have taken note that there is unsustainable timber harvesting. I think timber logging is a problem, and we as FZS working with government through the forest department and other security agencies and communities at large, that we need to sustainably manage this forest, because if we don't do that, then we'll destroy the habitat, and if we destroy the habitat for wildlife, then we'll lose the revenues. Yeah, so there is that problem, and I think we are working with everyone, the chief, the CRB, the communities and forest department, to see how we can address that. It's quite unfortunate that the people who are promoting this timber logging actually not from here. There are those who are coming from outside, and they're just taking advantage of the vulnerability of the local communities. But I'm sure with time they will appreciate that this is a game management area, and that wildlife gives us enough income. It provides enough income to the communities, and that the forest is part of conservation that we need to do. No, because the uncontrolled timber logging destroys the habitat. Some of those areas where this timber is being cut, they are animal corridors. And so it removes there are browsers. There are some animals that actually depend on the trees. And so if you cut, you destroy the habitat, meaning that the wildlife will be forced to migrate to other places. And when we lose the forest, we also issues of climate change, we lose landfall and so on. So it has a bigger impact in terms of conservation, and that's why I worry, because if you see where they are doing this cutting, it's just a few kilometers from the park, and so we see that this trend may continue up to the national park, and I think that will disturb the ecological system and the habitat for wildlife. Our primary people that we work with, the chiefs, the headmen, the community leadership itself, and the government, and I think what we've done regularly, and that's why you're even seeing me visiting the area. There are certain issues that we are resolving. We're just finishing a meeting with the Royal Highnesses and the communities here to discuss conservation, wildlife, and including issues of hunting. So the whole idea is to bring all the players together. Like I said, the forest department, the security wings, the communities, everybody else. I think we're involved in the discussion, and what we want to do is to see how we can work with our colleagues at the forest department, who are responsible for issuing timber logging concessions, so that we make sure that they share the numbers and the areas, so that we don't put these cutting trees into animal corridors or areas where wildlife is supposed to actually hide, seek shelter and so on. We all have a duty as citizens of this country to protect these resources, to protect the trees, to protect, we need to encourage lawful business. We don't need to encourage illegal businesses. And I think so our call to our security colleagues is that let's take keen interest that we have a duty as citizens, as employees of this state, to protect this thing. Because I think sometimes the information is provided, but we see very slow response. And I think that's not good. We expect that our colleagues in government, forest especially, who are responsible for issuing these permits, our colleagues in the security wing, police, army, ZNS, wildlife, all those who are involved, we need to be committed. I think we need to put national interest above personal interest, because if we do that, then we can be assured of succeeding. We don't want to harass people, but I think we need to stop the cartel. We know of the cartels that are running around these areas, cutting timber and so on, and they're colluding with other people. But I think the state needs to move in and stop those cartels, so that those who are doing illegal activities are brought to book. And like an appeal for my colleagues, my fellow community members, it's better to do lawful business. If we need to do timber cutting for construction of our houses at home, we need to do it the right way, such that we know that these areas will not affect our wildlife habitat. We need to do things within the law, because if we don't do that, then we are disadvantaging ourselves, and we don't want to see our people being jailed because they.
Government has released 2,487,200 kwacha to the Department of Social Welfare in Rufunsa District to benefit 5,257 beneficiaries. Rufunsa District Commissioner Richard Mavena, who witnessed the payment, has urged the beneficiaries to use the money wisely, as government is committed to ensuring that poverty is reduced at household level. The beneficiaries of social cash transfer who are receiving the July-August Bimuthi over 4,400 and 800 for other categories, and the physically challenged respectively, have commended the government for continuing with the program and increasing the amounts.
Of the social cash transfer, a social protection program put in place to help the most vulnerable in communities. Rufunsa District Commissioner Richard Mabena, who witnessed the payments, has urged the beneficiaries to use the money wisely, as government is committed to ensuring that poverty is reduced at household level.
So kamene kamungono kamene mpasani mukasunge bwino mjira ya bwino kuti tandizire mabanja atu. Damu ngengate tusebenzeshe darama munshira ina.
The beneficiaries have commended government for continuing with the program, as the money is helping them in many ways.
Maningi boma ititandizako mavuto tili nao.
Munga zikomo kuli bamene botitandiza kutusako mavuto chepekerako kwa mavuto. Munga ise wodwala pano mashuga ndiseti mavuto kuti yakulu. So pamene baenda atuonjezerako ili bwino maningi kuti tizipezako kuti tandizo tikwanise kugula minkwala.
Government has been constantly releasing the social cash transfer money, and for the month of July and August, it has released more than 2 million kwacha to benefit the 5,227 beneficiaries in Rufunsa District. Reporting, I'm Msekiwa Ntembe.
More stories to come in the world of sports, and of course many more updates. Don't go anywhere. We'll take our last commercial.
Falcon Express, Zambia's most reliable courier. Our services cut across the board with special packages for SMEs, corporate and individuals. We offer countrywide courier from as low as 40 kwacha. No need for app downloads. Simply call 0971 130766 or email info@falconexpresszm.com and we will be at your doorstep. Falcon Express, professional, friendly and reliable.
Nizona BMW 650i ingankale yanu ngati mwapitiriza kupanga entries ya 5 kwacha. Mungateye new deal game show time iliyonse kuseni muzuva mumazulo. Tamene mufunika kunkala nacho ni 60 kwacha mobile money account yanu. Then if you have that 60 kwacha, all you need to do is go to your keypad mwadini za star 265 star 13275 star 5 hash send. The more you enter, the more chances you have of becoming the owner of this beautiful BMW 650i Muntuanzi.
Thank you for staying tuned. And now with the rest of the news. Kabwata Area Member of Parliament Andrew Tayenga has called on citizens to join and work together in an effort to promote sports in the communities. Speaking with MUVI TV News in an exclusive interview after closing the 2022 Andrew Tayenga Football Cup final, Tayenga says the aim of the sports tournament in Kabwata is to uplift the status of sports at the community levels. He told MUVI TV News that he will continue to support different sports activities in his constituency.
Tournament every year, and we are also trying to identify a lot of talent within our different communities. So like this one, it started almost 6 weeks ago. Today that's when they are playing the final, and we have actually invested almost about 25,000 kwacha. That is both prizes and the sports equipment that they will end up receiving at the end of the tournament. So the winners will go away with 4,000 kwacha. The best second losers will go away with 3,000 kwacha. Then the third will get 1,200 kwacha. In the future, we'll be able to work actually on this ground. We want to uplift the status of this ground so that we can have a lot of talents being identified. We want to also identify other sporting discipline, not only football. We want also netball, probably if it will be possible, even cricket and tennis. Participating that may the best team win, may they carry the day, and I hope that part of this tournament there will be some.
On that note, with the beautiful updates in the world of sport, we come to the end of our MENA bulletin. But before we go, a recap of the headlines. Report reveals irregularities amounting to over 2 billion kwacha, and President William Ruto wins again as losing. Odinga describes the ruling as court opinion. Livingstone's army safety security workers tools down in demand for their duties. And Lusaka's Lindi resident experiencing erratic water lust for the last 4 months. Thank you so much for staying tuned for our bulletin. I've been your anchor, Faith Malambo. Do join us at 21:15 for the headlines. For now, it's a good evening and enjoy the rest of the broadcast.